The world is battling all kinds of demons these days, and the light that is shed by those of us trying to make the world a better place doesn't go unnoticed. Icelandic whistleblower Johannes Stefansson, without whom we would have remained oblivious of the depth of the rot within our leadership, was awarded an honorary medal by the Icelandic Complementary Group and Voices of the People. I chatted with our national hero and asked him what this award means to him, knowing that he's a key witness in the pending fish rot trial.
The award has a significant meaning to me because it recognizes that by coming forward I have done something correct, even though I was part of the fish rot crimes, and I have never tried to run away from that, and I will accept any consequences from my wrongdoings. So this is a big acknowledgement for me and also for all those who have been standing with me. And I, as I've said, I dedicate this award to the Namibian people.
I also asked Johannes Stefansson how committed he thinks the government is to fighting corruption.
I don't think the government is committed, because the government is involved in the case of corruption, as we have seen in the news, payments to the Swapo campaign and so on. And as I said in my speech, that it was very important that the government in general would not know about my trip to Namibia in August 2018, including also the Namibian Intelligence Service Agency. So how they are interfering now with moving people from positions and blocking people from being promoted, this is a big concern, and I look at it as attempts to silence the fish rot investigation.
Johannes Stefansson is so vested in seeing justice prevail for the people of Namibia that he stays abreast of the news about the country. I asked him what he makes of the bail applications of the accused and the revelations that have emanated from these bail applications.
The good thing with the bail application, we always see more and more facts and evidences from the investigators and the prosecutors. It's just also more supporting the fish rot cases. And this is a very big and complex cases. So I think so far the investigators and the prosecutors have managed quite well despite all the challenges. So and we will definitely see more evidences coming on the surface, as we have just seen in the news this year. More and more is being revealed from the fish rot corruption.
Whilst we were on the subject of bail applications, I asked Johannes Stefansson to share his views on why he believes there have been no bail applications made by former Justice Minister Saki Shangala and former Managing Director of Investec, James Hatukilipi.
Maybe they're just smart because, we saw that when Bernard Esau and Thompson applied, then a lot of information came on the surface which was not good for them. And I think they are smart, and also, this is a very sensitive case because, the shacks are not the only ones, this is the corrupt elite who is involved, and people are careful in their steps, and because we see so many evidences already. And sure, people are afraid that some of the shacks will speak. And that will shake things up a lot.
Samheri, the Icelandic fishing company Johannes Stefansson worked for here in Namibia, has also been rocked by claims of corrupt practices. I asked Johannes Stefansson just how much of a problem he thinks corruption is globally.
It's huge. And we shall have in mind now that the Namibian investigators and prosecutors are setting the great example for other countries how to deal with corruption, even though the challenges are many. But corruption is the root of all evil. We can say that. And it exists a lot in my country and other countries. Thankfully, there's a lot of good people out in this world who are fighting corruption. And since the story broke out, I'm in good contact with different NGOs and people and groups who are fighting corruption and and supporting whistleblowers. And that is also now what is, for example, now in October, I'm attending several conferences, just online due to the COVID, several conferences to address the issue of corruption and the people coming forward and how we can do what we can do to improve things for the people, because it's the ordinary people who are suffering from this big corruption. I mean, Namibia and Iceland are very similar to that. There is only this selected corrupt elites, let's say elites, in Iceland and Namibia who are pocketing everything from the resources.
Johannes Stefansson has taken responsibility for his role in assisting Samherji, the Icelandic fishing company implicated in the fish rod scandal. I asked him what's next legally.
In Iceland, when I came forward, then I automatically got the position as the status of a suspect. Because here in Iceland there is no law to protect me or anything like that, and it's fine. I knew that when I came forward, and I just deal with the consequences when they come. In Namibia, I mean, I collaborate with the investigators, and what the future will bring, I will just have to wait and see. I have my lawyers, which I keep well informed about all the steps and etc. And when the call comes for me to make my testimony, then I will come.
Whistleblower Johannes Stefansson was even poisoned in an attempt to silence him. I asked him whether his health has improved.
Not so much, This has just been a fight now for 3.5 years, and I'm still dealing with the consequences of the poisoning. And my focus goes a lot on that, and I've got good supervision of doctors in Iceland, and we just take it step by step. But it also explains the seriousness of how much people wanted to silence the cases, even before I came forward.
ShopRite has always been here for you, and our promise to bring you low prices on what you need most will never change. Like a 750-gram tin of Ricoffee instant coffee, only $76.99, and 2 kilos of Nam milk or Mayere cultured plain or sweet milk, just $34.99 each. Only at ShopRite. Lower prices you can trust, always. One stop, one safer shop.
This week, we are chatting to Icelandic whistleblower Johannes Stefansson, who was instrumental in blowing the lid off of the corruption within Namibia's fishing industry. I asked him to share his views on why government is dragging its feet with passing an Access to Information Bill and the Whistleblowers Act.
I mean, there is no political will for obvious reasons, and that's why it does not pass through, and it will not happen anytime soon. It's my opinion, and in Iceland was the same thing. It's just finally passed through and will be ready early next year. But that protection doesn't apply to me because I came before the act is going to be passed. And there are some points there which could have been done better. And people should look at the Whistleblowers Act like in the United States, which is one of the better in the world.
On a lighter note, I also asked Johannes to react to the affirmative repositioning movement's call to change the name of the prison in Walvis Bay to Bernard Esau Prison and to rename streets bearing his name.
I have no comments about that. I think anybody who wants to rename the streets, they just do it from their own will and mind. It's not something I am thinking about or anything like that. The most important for me is just to see this fish flood corruption to be fully exposed and justice to be served, and all the money which was stolen through the fish flood corruption will be paid back, and especially and from the sharks and the corrupt elite and Samherji. Samherji benefited most, the biggest amount from the corruption scandals.
Whistleblower Johannes Stefansson also spoke about the plight of the fishermen in Walvis Bay, whose woes were exacerbated by lockdown.
Yeah, I mean, this is just terrible, and I'm in contact with several fishermen who used to work for me when I was there, And they have told me, after I left, things, they got worse, or the conditions they were working with got worse. And it's heartbroken to hear all these bad stories that they have to say. And also other people have contacted me, and this needs the immediate change. The fishing industry, the resource of the fishing industry needs to benefit all the Namibians, and it's not complicated to do so. But, as we see, it's only benefiting a few pockets mostly, and then, of course, a little bit to the ordinary people. But this needs to change because, Namibia Namibians could live a good life, but, with all this unemployment rate 50% and 40% of the nation living in shacks with very poor conditions, this is unacceptable. And I estimate that with the fish rod corruption, or I have heard numbers, and I estimate I can agree with them, that maybe 50,000 people have been affected directly or indirectly due to the fish rod corruption. And maybe it's more, but I'm sure we will see accurate numbers about this in the future.
Whistleblower Johannes Stefansson gave some encouraging words to those who are willing to stand up against corruption, despite there being no laws to protect them.
Yeah, this is a very, very good question because, what has made things possible for me to come forward is that I don't live in Namibia. And for anyone who come with a corruption case on this scale, they have to be very careful. I mean, this is, people will silence cases like this, in my advance, I'm in Iceland. And so there needs to be better structure for the mechanism for the whistleblowers to come forward, to be protected, because otherwise they will never have a chance. For all the Namibian people and all the groups and the opposite parties, please keep fighting as you are doing, and I stand with you all the way, and we are not going to stop, because the important is that all these groups and opposite political parties and the AR and all the people, they have to stand firm together. We will get chances to better and have everything fully exposed and all paid back.
It is clear that the government is not so keen on our having access to information nor protecting those who are willing to speak out against corruption. The two acts signed in 2019 and 2017, respectively, are yet to see the light of day. I spoke to the Namibian Media Trust, Zoe Titus, about how this affects the Fourth Estate.
The law's been a long time coming, and I recall at the time, 2016, 2017, the Action Coalition, of which the Namibian Media Trust is a member and secretary, we had some concerns about the draft. We made a submission, and there were subsequent amendments made to that draft. The law or the bill was promulgated in 2017, and as you know, it's effectively 3 years, and the law is still not operational. As to the issue of a delay, an intentional delay, I think yes, maybe, but I think the Minister of Justice would be loath to admit that. If you recall, I think it was last week or the week before, a statement was issued to that effect. The President, I believe, has consistently gone out on public fora and mentioned the passing of the bill in 2017 as a major achievement for the country. So yes, it is a very legitimate question to ask, why has it not been implemented yet? I think that the fish rod scandal gave us a taste of what would come to light should there be such a law in place. And I think maybe that is affecting the position of our government in terms of whether or not they are pushing ahead to implement it. I can't prove it. A very basic journalistic concept and code as to protect your sources, not to reveal your sources, and the courts also adhere to that principle about the protection of sources. I mean, there's no guarantee. You don't know which way the courts will lean. You know, one of the concerns about the existing law is that there's a very, very hefty fine attached to the potential disclosure of information which may be untrue or not truthful. It certainly doesn't encourage exposure unless you are really, really convinced that there is a case to be had. But in the interim, there's very little that a member of the public can do in terms of protecting him or herself, aside from hoping that the journalist or researcher or whomever they disclose that information to will protect their identity.
Enjoy these fantastic payday savings at Clicks until 7 October. Buy Nivea Roll-On 50 mils, 3 for $51. Save 50% on Clicks Power Edge 3 or 5 razor blades. Buy Pampers Active Baby Pants or new Baby Dry or Mini Disposable Nappies Value Pack, $177.99 per pack. And buy Lifebuoy Soap, 175 grams, 2 for $19. Clicks. Feel good. Pay less.
When you watch football on GoTV, you know what you want. You want superstars.
What about that?
The biggest names in the game. And of course, the best leagues in the world. Yes, you want explosive football action. And this new football season, we're serving it to you on a shiny new platter with our revamped SuperSport channels. All you have to do is tune in and we'll make it worth it. So get and stay connected to GoTV for football worth watching. GoTV, live it, love it.
The incidence of women and children being abducted and raped is increasing at an alarming rate. This is happening the world over, and we really need to do more to save our children. I spoke to Nampol's Kauna Shikwambi about these incidents and the increasing scourge of rape in our society.
Recently, the media has been dominated by unpleasant reports of criminal activities, including crimes perpetrated against women and children. This takes us back to the two gruesome incidents that happened in the Havana residential area in Windhoek. And of course, this is only one of many other incidents of this nature. We are really overwhelmed by many criminal activities, such as housebreaking and theft, housebreaking with intent to steal, housebreaking with intent to rape, robberies, armed robberies, and a whole lot of crime incidents reported. And this also includes rape, which is really now becoming a grave and worrisome concern to this nation. Of recent also, we learned about a 24-year-old woman who allegedly kidnapped a 2-month-old baby. She was detected by members of the community until the police was alerted, and she has since been arrested.
Oh, people are stealing kids. Eh? People are stealing kids. Be careful, my people. Be careful.
There she is.
It is a very serious and worrisome incident. particularly here in the Komasi region. Yes, crime is happening everywhere in the country. But in Komasi, there is an increase of a number of incidents. What are we supposed to do? The media is dominated by many reports. We hear discussions also held over radios with members of the community questioning what is happening to our society. With many questioning, what can the nation possibly do to help the Namibian police force, to help the law enforcers? Because we are overwhelmed by criminal activities. Criminal activities that are occurring within homes where the police is possibly not present. So we need concerted efforts to be able to fight crime together. So we want to encourage members of the public. Let us start with the education within our homes, educating our children on the dangers of crime and to stay away from crime. Let us mobilize ourselves, join hands, and work together with the police within our localities. Know the numbers of your station commanders. Know the numbers of police officers that lives in your area so that in case of emergency you could alert them at any time. Mobilize yourselves. Let us all be whistleblowers when it comes to criminal activities. If it does not happen to you today, tomorrow you might be the victim. Seriously, policing in general cannot exist on its own. We need community assistance. We need community engagement. We depend on community's information. So we need to work together. Please, the care of our children is also in our own hands. We need to safeguard them. Leaving a 2-month-old baby with other toddlers, seriously, that's a gross negligence also from any parent. You could have taken the children or give the children to the neighbors or go with your children if need be. We really need to be very protective of ourselves. Safety starts with ourselves. If we learn to prioritize our own safety, the safety of the next person, the safety of the next person, then the safety of the neighborhood, the safety of our city, our towns, and ultimately the safety of our country. Let us get serious. Let us bring efforts on the table. Make recommendations within your community how best you can safeguard your communities and yourselves. That way we are really helping the police. It's unfortunate that the rape incidents, only education can perhaps decrease if our people understand that rape is a violation. Rape is a violent crime punishable by the law. Then maybe it will be reduced or eradicated. We only happen to know about the rape cases after it was committed already. It's unfortunate. Very unfortunate. But what we need to do is need to come up with strategies or effort that will make us prevent rape. And that is only if we educate individuals. The moral consciousness also of individuals to be able to detect and determine that this is right and this is wrong. So it's a moral behaviors that we need to change. Let's speak to our men, let's speak to our husbands, let's speak to our boys and teach them that rape is punishable by law and rape should be stopped.
DJ Khadija has initiated a service that provides transport for women.
My name is Khadija Matan and I am the founder of Wheels on Heels, a female transport service, and the concept is we are female drivers as well as strictly female passengers. Wheels on Heels was born from a place of knowing what it feels like to be a vulnerable woman within society. In the newspaper you read about one or other way in which a woman has been abused at the hands of men, and I decided to start this initiative to just take our power back. If you look at current status of society, women have the highest buying power. So economically, we make a huge impact. And we are the ones who are putting money into the pockets of taxi drivers. The very same taxi drivers who take advantage of us, who abuse us, who attack us, who rob us, and who rape us. And I decided, you know what, if you are not going to take care of us, we are going to take care of ourselves. And we are going to invest in women. Until the day men, taxi drivers, corporate people in leadership positions stand up and say, listen, enough is enough. We as men are going to protect our women. So if you're not going to protect us, we're going to protect ourselves. I am a mother, I have a daughter, and I have a responsibility to protect the female, the girl child. And this is why Wheels on Heels exists, to empower women economically, to empower women within society. How it works is you give us a call on 081-443-2372, or you send us a WhatsApp location and we can pick you up from where you are and we drop you off where you want to be.
And with that, it's a wrap. Stay woke with It's a Wrap by following us on our social media pages. It's a Wrap Nam on Insta, It's a Wrap Namibia on YouTube, and It's a Wrap with Erica Gebhardt on Facebook. It's a Wrap premieres on Sunday nights at 7:30 on One Africa TV, where it just gets better. You can also catch it live on Facebook, Sunday nights at the same time. One Africa TV, Mus. It just gets better.
My heart is niet de